Good afternoon, everyone. This is Shailendra, and we're going to start session soon. So before we start, I would like you to share. Just give me yes if you are able to listen me. I'm audible, so we'll be able to take it, smoothly. So just write yes and share it with me if I'm audible to you all. Okay, great, 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 great. So, so I'm assuming that I'm reaching everyone and I'm audible. Others, in case if there is problem, do let me know. Okay, great, great, good, good. Okay, good. Okay, so we'll start session now. My name is Shailendra. I'm sure most of you know me, and we'll start a journey to cracking second round from here now. I always believe that the second round is uh, much more difficult, or not difficult is not the right word, but I believe second round is something where you need more attention, more efforts to crack this round than first round. That's what I believe. I might be wrong. I might wrong on this, but then this is what I believe. Why I believe so? Because in first round, you have a lot of students writing tests of different level. In second round, whosoever is reaching to that level is almost off on the same level, of same platform. So you had cleared one parameter. Whosoever is reaching to a second round has cleared one parameter, one benchmark, and that's the reason he's there for interview. So this is a round where you need more attention. You need to work on a small details. You need to better understand you, and you should be able to represent yourself. These are the few things which you need to do in second round. So second round is more about knowing you, more about knowing small details about you, which probably you try to you tend to neglect sometimes. So in this session, we are going to discuss few things about interview, few things about entire interview process. In today's session, it will be a quick session. We'll be shifting to offline probably by Monday, where we will be able to do one-to-one sessions, more closely, and in an atmosphere where we can know more, understand more each other, and we'll be able to identify things which probably can help you to crack this entrance examination. But in today's session, we'll have a quick journey to understand that what exactly we did, what is the objective of interview. So knowing an objective is very important. You should know. Am I audible? There's some issue.
The voice is breaking.
Good. Yeah. Okay. So understanding the objective of this process is very important. You should know that what is why this interview is done. Someone can tell me that why this interview is done, why they have this round in entire selection process. You can speak. You can whomsoever who want to add up, they just start speaking. That anyone can start. Why interview is a part of this process? Why what they do in interview?
They want to check our communication skills and confidence.
So they want to check your communication skills, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Someone else? Any other reason?
So they might be looking to check if you're the right kind of candidate for their college and if you're fit for it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And and someone. Okay. Got it. Take it. So of course they are here to check you on various things. But the most important thing why they are doing this interview is that they want to select you, right? This is the most important objective of this interview. The objective of interview is to select students. What you need to do is you just need to give them two things, and that is a main objective that most of the but this is an objective which every interviewer looked at. The only two things which you need to do get selected. One is, of course, you need to give them enough reasons, that why you are there, enough reasons of joining that program, or enough reason that you know yourself. So they are there to select you. The only thing which you need to do is, one, give them enough reasons, reasons of enough reason of you reaching over there. And second, of course, someone very correctly added, the second thing which they are looking at is how fit you are for this program. And do you understand that, or you don't understand that? There are two things. There are only two things which majorly looked at this interview is, one, of course, your reason of, you know, getting selected in this program. And of course, and the second one is that how fit you are for this process. And the most positive part and the most important and positive part of entire process is that they are there to select you. So in this today's session, we are going to cover few of the things which can help you to state them, your reason, or which will help you to share your reason with them, that why you want to go to that university and why you are there. And they will be able to understand you, and they will be able to select you. So we are going to have a quick journey about it, and a brief session on this. So I'll do one thing, I'll cover most of the things in entire session. I'll cover entire fundamental basic of it, and then we'll start taking questions. And post that, I'll also try sharing few homework as well with you, which you need to do. And we can take it further individually when we meet on Monday or Tuesday, whatever we'll share dates with you, and we'll start taking it further once we meet on Monday or Tuesday. So this is the agenda of today's session, right? So moving further, uh, interview concept is something which we are going to discuss in today's session. And agenda for the day, as we already shared, is of course to understand interview and homework before you get into an interview. A bit of homework to make yourself ready for the process which you're going to encounter, which you're going to be a part of in some days. So what is interview? The most important question. Someone. So interview is something. Okay, I'll complete it. The interview is something where they want to understand what you are, what kind of person you are. And most of times, what happens to you when you enter to an interview room, when you're standing in front of an interview room, you're about to enter in front of panel. The most of the times, you have a lot of things in your mind. When you are about to enter in an interview room, this kind of feelings comes to you. The few of these feelings are, you are in tension, you're charged up, you are in a mood. यहाँ आज तो उसको crack कर देंगे. There's a bit of anxiety as well. What they will ask, what question they're going to ask. They might ask something which I have not studied. Are they going to ask about me? Are they going to ask about my favorite subject? Are they going to ask about my hobbies? So a lot of question in your mind, and that will help. That will bring in a lot of anxiety in you, right? There was butterflies, getting into, in front. I don't know who the panel is, what kind of person they are. Again, a lot of things in mind which will, butterflies, nervousness. You will be nervous meeting these people first time. What will happen if I don't get selected? Kya hoga mera? So then the person standing in front of interview will probably have these kind of feelings in mind. He will be slightly nervous, little bit tense, trying to console yourself. Let's go inside, crack it, do give your best, with a bit of anxiety. So this is the kind of feeling of most of times a normal person will get when he is standing in front of interview. But then you need to understand that why this feelings are there. Are they feelings are there because of the interview? and are these feelings are needed or not? So what about you are standing in front of a room, with a lot of what is going to happen in interview they're only going to ask these three questions from you, right? Only these three questions will come in a flat paper, so you will be nervous or you will be excited. Of course excited, because you already know that what is going to come in this examination, right? So you already know, okay, this is the subject, this is the question is going to come in this examination. But what happened, what we do, we don't prepare ourselves for those questions, and that's the reason we get nervous before we enter an interview room. My entire interview is based on something which I know best. I should know best, but then I don't explore myself, and that's the reason I get nervous before we get into an interview room. I get anxiety a student get anxiety, right? So the only thing which you need to understand is the subject, and the subject is you. And if you know yourself, which is one of the primary objective of interview, reasons of you being over there. If you have your reasons ready, if you know yourself, cracking an interview is the most easiest thing for you. One of the most, I think it is. I started this session saying this key interview probably is a much more is a slightly difficult process than written examination. But now here I'm saying, if you know yourself, then this is the most easiest process you're going to be a part of. This is way easier than any of the written examination you have written before. Reason is very simple, that you know the subject. You are master of that subject. You are master of yourself, right? So that is something you need to work on. So interview is all about you knowing yourself. If you know yourself, you can crack this examination. Interview is all about seeing inside you. And if you know yourself, you will be able to understand that what to show and what not to show, right? You will have your own filter. You will be able to identify your strength. You will be able to showcase your features. And a product is sold only based on features. And this is something, this is a small exercise, this is a small process you need to do. Explore yourself before you get in. So interview is viewing inside, viewing you, खुद को देखना is something which you need to do in this interview, right? So most important thing, which basic concept which you need to understand is, of course, difference between written test and personality assessment round. Written test is an absolute negative process. It's a rejection process. There's a line, there's a score. You score beyond that, you are selected. You score less than that, you are out. Wherein, as I already told you, interview is a selection process. The first thing, why this interview is conducted, why this process is conducted. This process is conducted to select you. Simple. There's no math, no logic behind. No, there's no secret behind. Right. So you need to be absolutely confident. Yeah, I'm going for selection. I ruin my interview, or I make mistakes in interview because I don't understand. I keep this in my mind. I might get rejected. I am not prepared. I don't know what they will ask me. अरे क्या क्वेश्चन पूछ लेंगे यार, रिजेक्ट हो जाऊंगा. यदि मेरा सिलेक्शन नहीं हुआ तो what if I don't get selected? But then you need to understand they are there to select you, right? Okay, next. So they are looking for your strength, their weakness, in total as a person. Rejection is a weakness, strength, selection is a strength. Okay. So why interview? Why interview is conducted? Because of course, the core purpose of an interview is to, understand what kind of commitment you carry in that for that program. So someone is saying that I wrote SLAT entrance examination, I got selected to Symbiosis, I want to be in this institution. You need to give them a reason. You need to show your commitment that what all you have done in last few years, last 5, 6 years of time, or let's say 2 years of time, what all efforts you had taken to get selected or to reach over there. So they want to see that what kind of commitment you carry for that program or that career or that institution. Of course, your stress handling, your logically thought process, what kind of the way you think is also tested along with it. And of course, the most important thing, that are you able to share them that how fit you are for this examination. So these are the few things: basically commitment, ability to think logically, and pressure handling, stress handling is something they want to check in this entire process. Idea, if you're already in pressure before you enter this room, you probably will not be able to handle pressure inside the moment your interview start. So if you already have 10 questions in mind, I don't know what will be the first question. क्या पूछ लेंगे? If they ask me, tell me something about you. If they ask me why your 10th was 83, 11th was 10th was 83% and 12th was 77%, what reason I will be able to give them? Why your score, why you have taken drop, why you have done this. If you already have these questions in mind, the moment you get inside interview room and they ask you something different from the questions you have in mind, you probably will not be able to answer them, right? So they want to understand, are you able to handle pressure or not? So these are a few things which we need to manage when we get into an interview, which when we get into a second round. And if we are not able to manage these things, my chances of selections are slightly thin, right? Moving further, interview is all about few questions, few important things which they ask in this question, in entire process of interview. But the most important thing in interview is, are you applying for symbiosis, or why you want to do law? What are your hobbies? Introduce yourself. What do you know about? Everything is all about you. So most of the questions which will come in interview will be only based on you, as we already discussed about it. So why you are applying for this okay. So this is most important thing, you, and this is what you need to do, right? So before we move forward, I would give you a small exercise to do. Don't do it right now. You just can, uh, keep it for homework. What you need to do is you need to do a small exercise. Take a piece of paper and divide that piece of paper into two parts. There should be two columns in that piece of paper. On the top left column, write the heading areas that I am comfortable in, and the top of the right column, write the heading areas that I'm not comfortable in. If you're able to just write this and take good 5-10 minutes of time, 20 minutes of time, and fill at least 4 points in each column for yourself. So four columns, 4 points, areas that I'm comfortable in, and another 4 or 5 columns, areas you are not comfortable in. Once we complete this session, do this exercise, and this exercise will help you to understand. This will look something, it will look something like this. 4 columns, areas I'm comfortable in, areas I'm not comfortable in. And this will help you to understand that what are the areas, what are the topics, what are the areas which you need to focus your entire interview on. You have to ensure that focus your entire interview on the area which you are comfortable in, and you need to work on those areas, from the right side of your this column, shift as much as you can to a right in next 4 5 days or 10 days, whatever time you have. Please understand, as we have already discussed, this session is this process is all about showcasing your features, giving reasons, right reasons to your interviewer, and enabling them to select you. These are the few things. This is the only thing which you need to do to get selected, right? So few truth and myth about interview which you need to understand is, you are a salesman, you are selling a product, and the product is you. The entire interview is an absolute sales process. You are a product, and how you can sell a product? Only when you know a product. Simple. So if I go out, I want to buy a new phone, I'll go to Google, I'll go to 10 other websites, I'll search, what are the features of these phones, I'll compare, and there could be different parameters, tech support, or how uh, updated that phone is, pricing, service network, availability, performance. There would be different parameters to, you know, identify, to explore those phones and to identify a right phone for you. So you will choose different phones. You will, explore. You will compare them on different parameters, and you will choose a right phone for you. The interview is very similar to that. The interviewer, the person sitting at other side, is also buying something at that moment of time, and he have various parameters. Like for phone, if you have uh, what kind of technology they bring in, how updated these phones are, what is RAM, what is ROM, what is screen size, performance, speed. They have different parameters. You have different parameters for phone. The interviewer have a different parameters to check you also. What kind of knowledge base you have, how much do you know yourself, what kind of communication skills you have, how you are able to present yourself, are you able to handle pressure, your non-verbal communication, your body language. They have different parameters, and then they compare these students who come to them in an interview based on their performance in interview, and they finally select one. The process is very similar, you do to buy a phone or maybe any other product for yourself. So this is an absolute sales process. It's effectively a sales process. Base is in a process which will only be able to make you win if you know your features, and you will be able to, and if you are able to showcase your features to your person who is buying you, or let's say the interviewer. So you are a salesman. यू सेल्समैन का जॉब क्या होता है सेल्समैन का जॉब? सेल्समैन का जॉब होता है टू सेल कस्टमर, tell him the features which he needs, to understand his requirement, to understand customer requirement. A customer goes to let's say I go to a Reliance store and I say I need to buy a 30,000 ka laptop. This is my budget. And a salesman starts showing me a laptop which starts from 50,000. So of course that deal will not work, because I have a different requirement and he's showing me a different thing. What we need to do is, both the person need to do is they need to match the requirement. So you need to understand the requirement of your interviewer, what they're looking at, and you should be able to match it. Their requirement is very simple. They are there to select a student for the program they offer. Right, so their requirement is open, their requirement is there everywhere. You can identify their requirement. What you need to do is you need to explore yourself and match it with the requirement. Simple, right? So how do you sell something? You focus on the positives, ignore the negatives, shift focus from negatives to the positive. Simple. So as I said, you focus on the positives, talk about your features, but don't hide negatives. So although there is no need of talking about it, but then you should not hide it if you're asked, right? For example, if you're going to in a showroom and you have to buy a motorcycle, and the feature and the salesman is telling you, okay, this motorcycle has a top speed of 180 and it has, tubeless tire and amazing pickup and amazing brake. They have disc brake and both disc brake, amazing shock up, everything. He'll tell you everything, but he will not talk about the fuel efficiency or the average until unless you don't ask him. Last me if you ask him, अच्छा भैया average क्या है? Average तो अच्छा है मैम इंडस्ट्री में, in the vehicles like this it offers best 35 kilometer per liter, you know so he will not hide it, but he will not focus on those negatives. He will only focus on positives. And in case if you're asking me a question, अच्छा एवरेज कितना है मैम? एवरेज इंडस्ट्री में सबसे अच्छा है these kind of bikes 35 kilometers per liter. But then at the same time, मैम एवरेज तो ठीक है, you should focus on performance. क्या स्पीड है? टॉप स्पीड. लुक एट द डिजाइन. He is shifting your interest from positive negative to positive, shifting your interest from average to design, average to performance, average to speed. What he's doing, he's shifting. This is something which you need to do. You need to shift focus to positives, right? And this is how you sell something. Honesty is very important. Talk about it, be honest. Don't try to hide anything. If someone is asking you, okay, what is your weakness, tell them, so this is my weakness, but I'm working on it. And we'll talk about it later on in one-to-one session as well. But then don't try to hide anything. Don't try to dishonest in an interview. You need to be absolute honest and humble, right? Okay. So now we are going to share a few of the standard questions, and these are the few standard questions which are going to be a part of most of the interview. And probably first one or two in question will help you if you're able to handle them. Your chances of getting selected will be always higher. Matlab, most of half of your work probably will done in first one or two questions only. So these are the few standard questions you need to focus on if you're going for an interview, and these are the standard questions which probably will be there everywhere, and your focus should be on this. And these questions will also help you to explore yourself, and you will not be able to prepare for these questions if you're not exploring yourself. Right? Moving further. First, most important question. Tell me something about yourself. Again, you, right? The opening question in most of the cases, 99% of the interview will have this question, and there's a reason behind. This question actually help to lighten the entire atmosphere. You are nervous, you got into a room, even they are nervous, they have a new student to ask questions. They don't even know you. They don't know what to start, you know. They don't know. There could be a person from, a person who must be a professor in economics, but then he cannot discuss economics with you because he don't know economics is your favorite subject or not, right? So this is opening question in most of the interview because it actually ease up entire atmosphere. It actually make you comfortable in with your interviewer, and of course it make them comfortable as well. And the most important second part of this, the most important part, why most important thing why this question is asked, that this question helps you to set the direction of entire interview. Ki where this interview will go, right? I want to talk about, let's say, I'm a very good reader. So if I want to talk about few books I have read recently, so I'll include them in my interview. Or in case someone at other side is also an avid reader or good reader, your entire interview will go on the same line. The entire interview will go on the books you have read, or maybe something about reading. And if the interview is going to a direction you want it to go, आप select हो गए, you got selected, right? Your chances of selection is higher. So very important question, and this question also helps you to create a boundary of entire interview. You know, 10 things, 20 things, 5 things which you want to talk, in next 10 minutes of time or 15 minutes of time, you can always include them in your interview, in your first question, in your introduction. And you might see questions coming on those things. So if 90 seconds of introduction have 5 things, which are your strength area, and if this 5 things can attract another 5 questions in interview, so this process will help you to 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 utilize at least 5 to 8 minutes of your time. And if you are able to answer these questions well, and of course which you will be, because they are from your strength area, they are from the areas which were there in your introduction, which you definitely will be able to score, will be able to answer these questions well. 5 minutes, 8 minutes of time, good performance, interview already have a positive mindset about you. Yeah, first 10 minutes, first 5 minutes, he or she is able to answer everything. ये तो सब आता है इसको, अच्छा बच्चा है. They have a positive mindset. They started building, thought process about you. Yeah, this is something I can select. A positive thought process start building, and your chances of selection gets higher, right? So answer should usually last for 1.5, 2 minutes. I think 90 seconds is a good time. Anything within 90 seconds. And make sure you leave an impact. You should be able to share with them that what you are. Don't try sharing things which they already know. For example, I get this. I my interview asked me. I said, "Tell me something about you." And my question is, "Sir, my name is Shailene, and I am from Raipur, capital of Chhattisgarh. My 10th was 82%. My 12th was 92%, and I wrote SLAT recently, and I want to join Symbiosis College." तो वो बोलेगा, अच्छा, ये तो मुझे पता ही नहीं था. ठीक है. So you can go now. Good, you shared an important information to me. Now you can go. This information he already have, and he is not there for this information. What kind of information he is looking at? He's looking at a information which explain you, which describe you, which talks about your skill sets, which talks about your last 8-10 years of journey, what you had done in school, what are your learnings. यहीं पे if you say, "Yes, sir, my name is Shaleen, and I love sports. I have played a national in, so let's say, state in badminton, and I scored 93 in maths. I was top three student of my school, and I have been also a vice captain of my school, and also a part of debating club of my school." So what you did over here, you talked about your skill sets. You're a part of debating club. You are into sports. You are into, you're also a captain. You have been a captain of your school. So this interview, this this introduction, this opening of your introduction will help them to understand that what kind of person you are, what all you had done in your life, and that will help them to understand you, right? So this is most important question of your entire interview. There are possibilities that you might get selected only because of this, if you are able to frame it well, because most of the other question will based on this if you are able to frame it well, right? So most important question of your interview. Next, and these are the few points, of course, if you want to explore yourself. I just told you few things like, sport or maybe school captain, but then there are 10 other things which you can, include in your uh, interview, your answer. And these are the few points which I would like to share with you, and I would suggest if you can write, because your homework is also based on this. My suggestion is if you just write these points, and these are the points which you can cover in your interview. And these points are: name, of course, most important; your academics, what all you had done in academics, not only numbers, but then your position in your class, your performance in class, school, so your academics, and what all you had learned, your favorite subject, those kind of things. Name, academics, the place you come from, and what this place is all about. You also need to tell them that how much do you know about this place and what all you had learned from this place. So if that place had certain anything significant, anything important, maybe, for example, if I talk about you're a law student, so you can always say, yes, sir, I come from sir, I'm from Raipur, and Raipur is the first commercial port of this country was established in Raipur. So this is one significant information which you can share with them over here, which will help them to understand he or she is someone who is informed about things around him, right? So maybe place, family, your parents, what they do, what kind of contribution they had made in your life, what you have learned from them can be a part of your introduction. Your work experience, of course, you are in class 12, so you might not have a work experience, but then if you have done something in society, you're part of any social group or maybe help group, you do something, and for people around you, you had done something for them, any steps which you have taken, small or big, taken time from your regular academics, that did that, can be a part of your work experience. Or let's say if you had worked somewhere along with your studies, learned some new skills, and that could also be a part of this. So work experience, achievements are one important part. I talked about vice captain of a school. So any achievements. If you're in sports, you had played district, or you even had played school level competition, one school level competition, one district, one state, or any achievement, Olympiads or NTSCs, anything which you feel that is important, and for which you had put some good effort to achieve it, is an achievement for you. Any social platforms, you won some quiz competitions, or maybe dance competitions, singing competitions, anything you had done. There are a lot of people who had contributed in COVID as well. So if you have something, talk about those things that reflects that what kind of person you are, right? So achievements may everything you had achieved should be a part of it. Hobbies and interest, what you do apart from your regular curriculum, your school, your other things, when you get some free time for yourself, what is something which you like most, You get to if you have a kitchen garden at home, you like playing some instrument, musical instrument, you spend time reading books, maybe you cook food for your family and yourself, you do some experiment with food, you do. I just met someone today, one of my student, and she do a wall art. So she paints wall, with tribal and mandala art, so very specific thing. So most of a wall in her home, like, are painted. So anything which you do, your hobbies, for which you take time, apart from your regular schedules, is something which should be included in your interviews, in your introduction. So hobbies again most important. So this is something which you need to explore. These are the points which can help you to explore yourself more, right? Okay. Role model, of course. Who inspires you most? Maybe maybe your friend in your school, some teacher, any your school principal, maybe parents, people around you, your sibling, cousin, someone who lives near you. Why they inspire you? Why they are your role model? How they had contributed in your journey? Everything should be a part of this. So role model, of course, you can pick one. And your strengths. What helps you to handle difficult situations, or any problem. Talk about it. And the most important thing which you need to include in your introduction is, you know try putting some numbers and data and example to everything. For example, if you're talking about achievements, eh, maybe rank one school and the only one to achieve this accomplishment, or this achievement. Put some number and examples. Hobbies, I have done these things. you know Try putting some example and authentic data to it, so that will help them to understand that what all you have done, right? Okay. Next, your career goals. Where you see yourself after 5-10 years of time. So your career goals. What your career goals are all about? So your career goals. So these are the few things which you need to keep in mind before creating your before working on your introduction, and then you can recheck it again. We can recheck it again once we meet one to one, and we can shape it better later on. Second things, academics. Be specific about your academics. Which subject you like, particular subject good at, project work done, summer training. So that also can be a part of your interview. So when we talk about standard questions on academics, so you might face few important and standard questions on academics as well. And the one important is, which is your favorite subject? So when you talk about favorite subject, try sharing, at least one or two subjects, so that will help you to, you know, uh, you'll have to increase your arena. It will have more area. So, maybe one or two subjects. You can always more than two subjects, two or three subjects. So maybe you should be ready with this. You need to go back and explore yourself. Ki, which is my favorite subject, and which is a subject where I can answer maximum question, or I can answer whatever comes to me, or maybe any specific uh, concept, maybe area of maths or area of economics or area of physics, anything which you believe you are good in, you can always talk about it. or something which you like doing. Maybe, for example, you like doing sudokus, or maybe like doing reasoning. You can talk about it. So these are the few standard questions which comes in academics. Identify at least 3 to 4 topics, in 2 3 subjects, and revise it. Because in case if they ask you a question, and they ask you, "Ki, where should I ask a question from?" And if you're giving at least 2 or 3 topics to an interviewer, you are supposed to answer those questions. Because when you're saying it's my favorite, then you are expected to know everything, right? So you can always pick them, revise it. Hobbies and interest. If I talk about, specific, uh, I'm picking up few specific points from here, and you can further explore it, because which can be a part of your introduction. So academics, I already talked about. Be very specific about uh, standard questions. If I talk about hobbies, you have to be very specific about your hobbies. Anything which you do in your spare time, you know, out of your choice, outside of a cat's work experience. For example, if I someone says this, ki, I do something for society. I am a part, or I go to some NGO. But then, if it is a part of your regular school curriculum, so it is not your hobbies, because you're going there because it's a part of your curriculum. So you need to understand that what your hobby is. Try exploring yourself, what you really like doing. So talk about it. Uh, if I talk about strength and weakness, strength is something that helps you to perform. So when you're weak, when you're in problem area, when you are in different difficult situation, what helps you in performing, which accelerate your performance is your strength. Think about it. Try identifying what your strength is. Maybe, uh, you being humble, or your nature, your thought process. Think about it, and that should be a part of your introduction. Weakness is something that hinder your process. Simple. So you need to explore yourself, identify your weakness and strength, and then that could be a part of your introduction. Be ready with the examples. If I say that, being positive is my strength, then you need to have at least 1 or 2 example which might have exhibited this, that key, how you came out of a difficult situation being positive, right? So you need to remember those instances, and those thing which happened in your life, which can quote over there if they ask you, right? Yeah. So don't show a weakness that appears as strength. So matlab, if it is a weakness, it has to be a weakness. You can always talk about it, you're working on it. So identify your weakness and strength. So weakness is not that key, everyone has a weakness. So they will not disqualify you based on your weakness. You need to tell them that what you're working, improvement, your efforts is something which you need to share with them, right? So next, moving to achievements. If I talk about achievements, talks about your awards, rewards, recognition. We already had talked about it. What gave me the most satisfaction? If I am, like, let's say for example, I score, if you had scored, let's say 16 in your class 10th and 19 in your class 12th, there's an achievement for you. For example, if you had some very bad tough time in your class 12th, still you was able to manage your preparation, sports, and class 12, that's an achievement for you. So something which satisfy you, which help you to satisfy, I I performed even in a difficult situation, and and I put my efforts. So that's an achievement for you, right? So this can be a part of your achievements. Your role model, we already talked about qualities that inspires you. Need not to be a public figure, but it can be anyone. It can be a public figure as well. So Sachin Tendulkar can be your role model, and a cousin lives with your sibling in your house can be also be a role model, or maybe your parents at home can be a role model. So someone who inspires you is the basic idea behind role model, right? So this is again, we already discussed about it. The second most important question which comes in most of the, which of course will come to you also, is why they are asking this question again, going back to a same basic understanding objective. Why they are asking this question? Because they want to understand that how clear you are about your decision, about your career goals. ऐसा तो नहीं है कि you took this decision based on few things around, and you might not continue it after 5 years or in future. So they want to understand your clarity. Why not to give an opportunity to someone who is absolutely clear? And that's the reason they ask you this question. Few specific question: why you are applying for law, why you are applying for symbiosis. What you need to do is go back and visit their website. Try understanding that what kind of information they had shared over there, their curriculum, their faculties, their people, the activities, everything. And few other questions which can be a part of your interview is: where do you see yourself after 5, 10, 15 years? What will you specialize in? You want to get into a cyber law, you want to get into a corporate law, you want to get into, litigation, you want to make a career in civil services. Where do you see yourself? So this actually, why law can be associated long term, it can be associated with your long term goal as well. So they want to understand what kind of visualization you have, what kind of reasoning you have behind choosing this career. And of course, there could be a question also that what if you don't get selected? What if we don't select you? So you need to be absolutely honest over there and tell them that what you will do, right? So this is something few of the basic questions which will be a part of interview, and you know you need to prepare on this. If you're able to and manage these few questions, your chances of selection is always high. And I'm sure by this time you would have understand that these are very simple questions and they are very easy questions. The only thing which you need to do is you need to put some efforts in exploring yourself and your journey till date, and you will be able to answer this questions, right? So moving further to few homework which you need to do before you come for the one-to-one sessions or maybe further classes. And these course homework is knowledge about self is very important. Your strength, weakness, hobbies, interest. You need to explore yourself. Knowledge about your institution is very important. Knowledge about if you're applying for symbiosis, if you have a symbiosis interview, you should know everything about it. Everything. Right from director to campuses to journey to start their students achievement in last 3 years 4 years, what kind of exchange program they offer, what kind of curriculum they do, hostels, mess, everything. Knowledge about your career goals. My decision of law, I'm convinced I will be able to convince everyone. So if you're convinced, identify, find out, reasons which can help them also to, which can help them to, which can help you to convince them as well that why you want to do law. You have 10 bullet points ready with you. This, ye reason hai, how I got inspired, why I want to do and where I see myself. So you have to be ready with these questions. Knowledge about your subject area, current affairs, basic current affairs happening. You're going for a law interview, then you should know what are the things which has recently happened, government, politics, judiciary. So basic current affair. I'm sure most of you, uh, you guys would be good in current affairs because you recently wrote an entrance examination, but then revise things, recently. What is happening in Afghanistan, India, Kashmir issue, elections over there, everything. And if you know this, the recent measurement, Assam issue, everything, right? So this is something which you need to do. keep asking question yourself, treat yourself as a student and ask question to yourself and answer them. If I have to answer this question, I'm asking this question to me, then what this should be the answer, and then critique them. This is the right answer. What else should I add it, right? So until unless you don't get into those process of asking question, answering them, asking question, answering them, reaching towards right question, right answer will be little difficult. So next 5-10 days time, whatever you have to do it every day, right? So this is your homework.